The city of Bloomington is experiencing rapid growth, but some residents don't like what they see popping up downtown. Mayor John Hamilton has announced a proposal that would give planning leaders more discretion when reviewing development projects. Lindsay Wright joins me now with more.
Thanks, Joe. If approved, the ordinance wouldn't allow any structures over 3 stories to automatically be approved. That's the key word, automatically. Anything higher than 3 stories would get a more thorough review to make sure it fits well with the city based on 3 categories. That's design, the environmental impact, and affordability. But one group in the community has spoken out against the proposal, saying it jumps the gun on a certain process that should be followed. Matt O'Neill is cooking up a meal in the place he thinks is unlike any other. O'Neill bought the Runcible spoon in 2001, but the restaurant has been a Bloomington staple since the 70s. It's known for its unique dining experience.
I inherited this place. I inherited something really magical that I admired as a customer before I ever bought it.
O'Neill says the spoon is a reflection of Bloomington, a community he says has a special charm. But with the number of buildings going up lately, he's worried the old school charm could disappear.
It's just amazing. You look around and it's happening very quickly.
The U.S. Census Bureau estimates Bloomington's population has grown by nearly 15,000 people in the last decade. All you have to do is take a look at the city's changing downtown to see the impact. City leaders here are approving an increasing number of development petitions compared to the last few years.
The question is, how do we steer it to evolve in good ways, sensitive, creative ways that will build value and create the new Bloomington for the next generation of people.
Hamilton's administration wants to change the city's Unified Development Code. Here's how it would work. If developers want to construct a building that's higher than 3 stories or above a certain number of units, their proposals would be subject to additional scrutiny. But if the developer's proposals fall within those new parameters, the Plan Commission has to approve it. And that's been an issue in the past. Take, for example, Urban Station 2. It's a mixed-use development that includes retail space and apartments. Several city residents spoke out against that project, but the Plan Commission approved it in November.
We can't legally say, we just don't like your design, go away. Because they can sue us, and they can say this is discriminatory.
City officials say updating the code would allow for more control over what's being built. At the same time, that doesn't mean all large developments would be halted.
But we're not saying don't build a 40-foot building or 50 building. It's just a 50-foot building. It's just saying if you're going to do that substantial building, we need to be sure it's done right. So there's a little more review, and that's kind of working toward this new chapter.
That new chapter is a comprehensive master plan that's expected to be approved in January, which leaders say is long overdue. The city hasn't approved a new version in 15 years. Ann Bono is the interim president and CEO of the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. She says the city typically adopts a master plan before changing the development code to align with its vision.
The city administration is taking one piece of the Unified Development Ordinance that they don't agree with and updating it instead of really following through on this process that was discussed.
Bono says the Chamber of Commerce represents nearly 900 businesses in the city. She says they were never notified about the proposal despite being active in the master plan process. Now, she says there's not much time for public input before a final vote is taken.
We do not want to see anything that tries to pass, quietly or quickly. It's really important to engage, stakeholders, engage the public.
Hamilton says adopting the changes now would prevent developers from rushing to get projects approved before the city enacts more long-term rules. And O'Neill supports that move. He says Bloomington still has that magic he felt 30 years ago, but the key, he says, is to preserve it.
If you put these buildings up, at least try to make them somehow have their antenna plugged into the community. Let them reflect what's going on in the community. Let the architecture reflect that.
And Lindsay Wright is back with more. This is really interesting that the City Commerce Council came out against that original proposal from the mayor, and usually you would think they would come out together support of something.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and they have several concerns, not that it just doesn't follow the typical process. They say it opens up the door for the city to approve developments based on affordable housing provisions. The city even says in the proposal that they want to steer the housing market toward non-students and affordable options. These are some of the challenges that college towns face, trying to maintain the character of the city and neighborhoods as it grows. Take State College in Pennsylvania as an example. Development officials there say they've updated their code to lay out clear incentives. So as an example, if a developer offers a certain number of affordable housing options, they could get an extra story in height. So there's really no room for negotiating or for discretion. I think that's what the Chamber of Commerce here is concerned about. And the city says these changes proposed would be temporary. So maybe in future changes, it would be more straightforward of what can and can't be built. But the Chamber also mentioned that who knows if it actually will be temporary.
All right. Thank you very much, Lindsay.
You're welcome.